everyone, I'm back. It's 1 o'clock and it's time for me to share a story. I'm so happy to be back here. I'm Shalni, and I was actually very nervous about sharing this story. I guess it's because I've never really told it before. All the stories that I've shared with you up to today, they've all been stories I've told before. But this one I haven't told before, but I've heard many times. And when I read the book, the story in the book, when I was looking for the story, it struck me that that this same story can be seen to have different roots. As in the book, it was stated that it's a story from Burma, and but my mother told me this story way back when. And it took place in an Indian village or something like that. It was a village headman who was the hero of the story. And I do believe one of our storytellers, Rani Kannan, she told the story recently, and that's why the story came to me, because I remember that I liked that story a lot. I never got to listen to her version though, but I'm sure she did a fantastic job of it. And so that story's been with me for a while now. I've wanted to tell it, and so I thought, hey, I'll take the chance to share it with you. And so the story is called It's Not My Problem. Okay, so here it goes. Once there was a king. Now this king, he was with his advisor, his minister, and they were sitting at the king's palace, overlooking the courtyard, the city. I believe it must have been his city palace, not something that was far away, but somewhere that he went, just to get away from the boredom of being so far away in this huge palace. But his advisors would have been there too. So he and his advisor were sitting on the veranda, the balcony, enjoying some honey and puffed rice, which is a delicacy of Burma. Now, in my mother's version, I remember honey, but I don't remember what it was with. But I remember the honey. Okay, so the honey and puffed rice. They were enjoying their honey and puffed rice, and so they were chatting about this and that. And it happened that when the king took some honey, dipped his puffed rice in the honey, a bit of it dripped off onto the balcony ledge. And the advisor immediately got up and said, "Oh, sire, we better clean it up." But the king said, "Why? It's just a bit of honey." But the advisor said, "But might have ants, might get dirt, it might dirty everything else." But the king said, "No, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. We'll let the servants deal with it. It's not our problem. We've got better things to talk about. Come, sit down." And so the advisor did, a little hesitantly, but he didn't want to upset the king, right? So he did that. He sat down. And they forgot all about the honey. But, unknown to them, that little insignificant bit of honey, the little drop, slid down the ledge and boop, fell on the ground, down below. And no sooner had it fallen than a little fly landed right on it. Lunch! Now, where there's fly, there's going to be something else. What is that? That's the lizard. So the lizard saw it. And the lizard, before the fly had any time to get its sticky feet out of that honey, that's it. Whoosh! The lizard was onto it as well. Fly was gone. And just as the lizard was about to go off on its merry way, a nice little cat saw it and said, "Ooh, lunch." And it pounced on the lizard and gobbled it up. Lunch. It would all been no big deal until there was a dog just nearby. And the dog, when it saw the cat, was like, "Ooh, not lunch, but cat." That's the only thing it thought. And it pounced on the cat. And the cat was trying, the door. Oh my goodness, all that noise. And the minister said, Sire, there seems to be a little trouble down there between a cat and a dog. Maybe we should get someone to stop it. The king said, please, it's just a cat and a dog. Not our problem. Let the owners settle it. And true enough, the owners were around, because the cat belonged to one of the people who was buying something from a candy shop. And so, when she saw her cat being troubled by that dog, oh, she was mad. And she ran to that cat and she said, oh, my poor kitty, you horrible, nasty dog. There was a stick somewhere and she started hitting the dog with a stick. You go away now, my poor kitty, give me back my kitty. And then, but the dog was not alone either. It wasn't a stray dog. The dog has its owner too. And the dog's owner, who was at the provision shop across, saw that his beloved dog was being attacked by that crazy woman going berserk. And he ran as fast as he could and said, hey, what do you think you're doing with my dog? And she said, well, your dog, get your dog off my cat. No. And they started arguing about who caused the problem and who did what and who did whatever. And then the advisor was, he was already distracted. And he's like, he looked over the veranda and said, Sire, now it's two people fighting. I really think we should send someone, from the palace to stop them. But the king said, well, I'm sorry. It's just two people fighting over a cat and dog. Is it our problem? Nope. No problem. It is not our problem. The only problem we have is, I think we're out of honey. You better call for some. And the advisor was like, oh, okay. And so they went on with their own thing. And downstairs there was so much of a kerfuffle that the people in the square came running. Some were supporting the cat's owner. Some were supporting the dog's owner. Thankfully, by now, they had separated the cat and the dog, or else, it'll be completely, it'll be the end of the story for one of those creatures. So now it was just a fight between two people. And now the other people had come on, and some were cat lovers. So, of course, they wanted to support the lady whose cat had been attacked. And some were ardent dog lovers. And they said, no, please, cat, of course the dog's going to attack him, right? Come on. And so they were supporting the dog owner. And they were like, yeah, go, come on. No, you can say this. No, you can say that. They were just egging them on. It was just getting bigger and bigger. And then the advisor was like, Sire. I said, I know what you're going to say. It's just the people. Let them handle it themselves. They're adults. Let them handle it. Anyway, what were you saying about the country palace? And so the advisor said, no, he had no other choice. But he had one ear on that sound over there. And soon enough, that little, riot happened. And as would be the case, the police came in. Okay, some good Samaritan called the police of the town. And the police came. Big group of policemen came. Because they heard, it was a big group of people fighting. Two factions, in fact. And so, oh my goodness. When the police came, you think the policemen are going to help the situation. But in this case, I'm sorry to say not. Because it turned out that some of the policemen were from the north of the country, where the lady, the cat owner, was from. And some of the policemen were from the south of the country, where the dog owner was from. So then, it did not only stay a fight between a cat and a dog, or cat owner, a dog owner, cat lovers and dog lovers, but whole faction of northern people and southern people. Oh my, that went out of control. In fact, it became so big that it became a major riot. And it became so huge that even when finally some soldiers were sent to calm the situation, it was too late. People had been injured. Property had been vandalized, had been destroyed. The whole place where there was just a simple town, a simple square, it was a complete disaster. It had spread not only within that square, but beyond, and as far as the king and the advisor could see. There were fights that needed to be put out. There were fires that were there to be put out. Real fires at some point. And when the king saw that, he was speechless. He could not believe his eyes. And he looked at his advisor when he had managed to get everything under control, finally, more soldiers, whatever it needed to be done. He sat down heavily with his advisor and said, maybe that was our problem in the beginning after all. The end. Thank you. I like the story because it tells me, for myself as well, sometimes you think it's a small thing, I'll get to it later, or it's just a small problem, I don't have to solve it now, it's nothing significant, I'll get to it. Then sometimes, over time, when you keep doing that, it just snowballs and becomes something bigger than you. And faced a few of those, and we try, okay, to think about it. And so when I read this story, firstly, it came back to me that my mother used to tell me the story. And secondly, it was how we all better deal with whatever's in front of us as soon as possible, right? Everything's small, let it stay small. Let's just solve it when it's small instead of making it big. And so I like that story very, very much. And so I'm happy to have been able to share it with you. And I hope to see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.